Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Welcome to a new special recorded episode of Viewers Pulse. Thank you so much for being with us here this evening. As always, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the time that we spend here together in our scale of good deeds and to make it of great benefit, inshaAllah. Yes, this is a recorded episode, but indeed it is a new episode, inshaAllah. And we're going to be reviewing and recapping a whole lot that's happening here at Huda TV. You can stay in touch with us throughout the week, inshaAllah. First of all, through our email, and that is pulse@huda.tv, pulse@huda.tv. Feel free to send us an email, inshaAllah, if you have any questions or any concerns or any ideas, and we will forward your email to the appropriate department, inshaAllah. Facebook.com/HudaTV or Huda.tv is our official, one and only Facebook page. So feel free to join us there, inshaAllah. We have, alhamdulillah, more than 200,000 people who have joined our page, and we hope that you become one of them, inshaAllah, if you haven't already. If you are one of the people who is on our Facebook page, then please do invite all your friends and ask them to participate with us, inshaAllah, on Facebook. Twitter.com/HudaTV channel is the way to stay in touch with us on Twitter. If you're one of the people who uses Twitter, feel free to follow Twitter. Feel free to follow us there, inshaAllah. And, we bring you some good tweets on there as much as we can. Mostly it's the things that are on Facebook. They're transferred to our Twitter account, inshaAllah. So feel free to join us there, inshaAllah. Alright, my dear brothers and sisters, you can also stay in touch with us through our YouTube channel, and in my opinion, this is the best way to stay in touch with us, and that is through youtube.com/HudaTV. youtube.com/HudaTV. You can do a whole lot there. Most importantly, you can watch our live streaming, which alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen is working very well. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, from any corner of the globe. The same exact thing that you see on the Huda TV screen. If you're watching it on satellite, you will see the same exact thing through our live streaming, inshaAllah. And mashallah, it's very good quality. And alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, after some recent upgrades, it is a very stable connection. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it going all the time. So, for example, if you know someone who lives in a part of the world where Huda TV does not broadcast on their satellite dish, or on their TV, then ask them to go to our YouTube page, and inshallah, following the link there, they'll be able to see that we are able to. They're able to watch us from anywhere around the world, and the same exact thing that they see on TV, that you're seeing on TV, they'll be able to see there. And of course, some people are traveling right now, so if you are traveling and if you're not living in a country where Huda TV is broadcast, you can watch it from anywhere around the world, inshallah. So that is the best thing that you can do, and I think the most useful thing on our YouTube page. Also, if you've missed an episode, a recent episode that aired here, especially our live episodes like Ask Huda, like Huda Tonight, like Guardians of the Pious, like all of our top programs that you see here, Quran in Depth, Correct Your Recitation, all of your favorite programs, you will be able to find them, inshaAllah, on our YouTube page, most likely on the same day, or if we are late for one reason or another, then the next day or the day after that, inshaAllah. So feel free, my dear brothers and sisters, to join us on our YouTube page. Also, if you've missed one of your favorite programs during the month of Ramadan, you can watch full episodes of these programs, inshaAllah, at any time at your convenience. Whenever you have time, feel free to log on and watch them on YouTube, inshaAllah. Also, Skype is on sometimes on some of our live programs, and the address is Huda_TV, so please do add us on Skype, inshaAllah. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to tell you a couple of things that are happening here at Huda TV behind the scenes, inshaAllah. First of all is our preparation for Hajj. We have a crew that is made up of 3 people. Sometimes we're thinking of sending an extra person if our budget allows, and if we get a visa for this 4th person, inshaAllah. And this team, yes, they are small, they're not huge in number, because we are not a huge channel in terms of money. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, these brothers are going to be going to Hajj. They have been selected, and they're going to be led by our dear presenter here on Huda TV, Brother Junaid Dar, who you've seen a number of times on Huda Tonight. He will be the one who's leading our on-screen coverage live, inshaAllah, from Mecca and from Mina as well, inshaAllah, and from Arafat, hopefully, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And of course, he'll be filming some reports throughout the days of Hajj, including from Medina and other parts of Hajj, inshaAllah. So that was a very important piece of news. I wanted to let you know that our Hajj team has been chosen, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Do make dua for them, please. Make dua for them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes things easy for them in terms of preparation and their paperwork and their visa and all of these types of things, inshaAllah, so that they're able to serve you during Hajj, and at the same time they're able to perform Hajj themselves, inshaAllah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from them and to take them there safe and to bring them back safe to their families and to the Huda TV family, inshaAllah. My dear brothers and sisters, also another important piece of news that I wanted to share with you is that we will be also covering Hajj live from in the studio. And if Allah gives me life, I'll be one of the people who will be doing that from our main studios here. The nights of Hajj, as Hajj starts, we'll have a nightly program live here from our studios, inshaAllah. And on the day of Arafah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as always, as we've been doing with you for the past 8 or 9 years or so, we've been doing this with you, inshaAllah. We will be live for the entire day of Arafah to bring you the experience of the Hujjaj from the time right after sunrise until way after sunset, inshaAllah, as we see pilgrims come from all corners of the globe in order to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seek His forgiveness and Arafah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Also, my dear brothers and sisters, here at Huda TV, we are trying to do a lot in order to develop our current programs, so we welcome all your suggestions. Our program Huda Tonight has really, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, been a great plus here at Huda TV, and it's bringing diverse topics to the screen, representing the real Islam that is not only about spirituality, but it's also about every single aspect of our life. Of course, spirituality is one of the biggest parts of the deen, but it is not the only part. Islam is an all-encompassing religion. So please do send us your feedback through the mechanisms that you see on the screen, whether it's our email, our Facebook page, our Twitter account, our YouTube page, by leaving a comment there, or also through Skype, inshaAllah. My dear brothers and sisters, also the third piece of news that I want to share with you, or we can say the fourth piece of news, if we don't combine the first two Hajj pieces of news, is that the program is recorded for this week only, but inshaAllah we will be back live with you again next week, inshaAllah. So forgive us for not being able to take your calls for this week, but inshaAllah next week we will be able to take your calls. Now, inshaAllah, my dear brothers and sisters, we have a whole lot that has been happening throughout this past week here on Huda TV, including some great programs that aired episodes of these programs. Let's go ahead, inshaAllah, and take a look at this first clip. It's from Gardens of the Pious, and this episode aired on the 3rd of September. In this episode, Sheikh Muhammad Salah was talking about assistance towards righteousness and piety. Let's go ahead and take a look.
The last segment of the second ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter number 5. In this part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the following. He said, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. Which means تعاونوا is a command verb for the plural. All of you cooperate and assist one another in righteousness and piety, al-birri wa taqwa. But do not cooperate in sin and aggression. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ. Keep your duty to Allah. Fear Allah. Do what He ordered. Abstain from what He prohibited. Inna Allah shadidul iqab. Verily, Allah is severe in punishment. This is the last part of the second ayah of Surah Al-Ma'idah. And the second reference is one of the most beautiful surahs of the Quran. It's a short and brief surah, but has a great meaning. To the extent that Al-Imam al-Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on him, said, if Allah did not reveal any surah of the Quran but Surah Al-Asr, which is our reference, it would have been sufficient. Surah Al-Asr is sufficient as a message and communication from Allah to His servant. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, revealed 114 chapters. One of them is Surah Al-Asr, and it is a very short surah. In Surah Al-Asr, which consists of 3 ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Wal Asr. He swears by the time. Innal insana lafi khusr. Indeed, mankind is at loss. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Except for those who have believed and did righteous deeds and enjoined one another to the truth and enjoined one another to patience. So the qualities and the means of success, the ultimate success, were stated in Surah Al-Asr, which consists only of 3 ayat. That's why Imam al-Shafi'i said this surah could have been sufficient if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed nothing but this surah, because it explains everything. It explains how to achieve the ultimate success. Let's look at the first reference first. If you remember, we often say in the program of Ask Huda, that many questions can simply be answered by providing this reference of Surah Al-Ma'idah. And we normally say, read if you wish in Surah Al-Ma'idah, in ayah number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. When somebody asks about this job, or renting his store, or his hall, or his building to such and such business, or to such and such organization, what will determine whether this participation, this cooperation, this business is halal or haram is the kind of assistance. In what? In doing what is good, then this is halal. In doing what is evil, then this is haram. Whether this assistance or cooperation happens to be directly or indirectly. Accordingly, the command undergoes the different ahkam of the wujub, the mandate, the obligation, or the recommendation. And it could be mere dislike, or it could be even severe in prohibition, absolutely prohibited. What does it mean? When you see somebody is trying to do something good, and achieving this goodness is waiting on your assistance, then you must assist him.
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all amongst those who assist each other, inshaAllah, in righteousness and in goodness, and also assist each other in avoiding that which is evil and that which is bad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all, inshaAllah, be on the straight path and stay on it, inshaAllah, as we try to unite together, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, to serve the Muslim Ummah. SubhanAllah, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it in this deen that we are not able to do things on our own. We have to assist one another in order to reach the goals. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Shaykh Muhammad Salah for this great clip and for his great advice, mashallah. We're going to take a short break, my dear brothers and sisters. When we come back, inshallah, we will be recapping quite a bit more, inshallah, so please stay with us.
I think I lost my ablution, but I'm not sure, do I have to make wudu again? Is it allowed for Muslims to visit the graveyard, or is that shirk? Am I allowed to say Jummah Mubarak to someone? Can I get to know a sister before marriage? I have so many questions, and I feel that I've just reached a dead end. If only I could find someone trustworthy to answer my questions. Someone who speaks based on proof from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters, to Viewers Pulse. Thank you so much for being with us. As we said, this is a special recorded episode, so do feel, inshallah, free to send us an email at pulse@huda.tv. That is the best way you can stay in touch with us throughout the week, and inshallah, we will answer your questions and we will try our best to help you as much as we can, inshallah. We'll forward your email to the appropriate department regarding the question that you have, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. My dear brothers and sisters, we still have a whole lot more that we want to recap here. Next, inshallah, coming up is Aqeedah Matters with Sheikh Kareem Abu Zayd, mashallah, a beautiful program giving us the essence and the basics of Aqeedah. What I love about this program is not only the knowledge that is being said in it, because mashallah the knowledge is tremendous, but the passion also that comes with it. It is not always easy to find someone that will give you knowledge of the deen and at the same time give it to you with such great passion. So this is an episode that aired on the 3rd of September. It was in this clip, Sheikh Kareem is talking about whose ijma' is valid. The word ijma', we talked about it last week. We said that it's consensus. So whose ijma' or whose consensus is valid? Let's go ahead and take a look.
Whose ijma', whose consensus is valid? While all Muslims are in agreement that the consensus in general is a legal evidence, they disagreed on whose consensus is binding. Meanwhile, they agreed that the consensus of the first 3 braised generations is a legal evidence, but they differed regarding the rest of that. But let's start with let's take the first one, let's break them down here. What about the companions? What about the consensus, the ijma' of the Sahaba? The ijma' of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The only 100%, no question about it, consensus is the consensus of the companions. The only valid ijma' is the ijma' of the companions, which is proven 100% because it's considered a sharia evidence. It means the general consensus of the companions that such rule is a sharia rule, or their general consensus that the rule pertaining such and such matter is so and so is binding. Hence, if they anonymously consented, if they have agreed, all of them, upon a certain rule, that means it must be used as a legal evidence in the Sharia. Why? So the unanimous consensus, ijma' of the companions, is binding upon the ummah. simply because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised them. They were there when the revelation was coming down. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was their teacher in a way. Add to this, they certainly convey to us the rest of the religion, including the Quran, including the Sunnah. Hence, any unanimous agreement, which is in this case is called ijma' by the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, certainly is binding and certainly is 100% legal evidence in the Sharia that has to be implemented. طيب, what about the second best and the third best? The rest of the three praised generations. We know that the ijma' of the Sahaba is binding. What about the ijma' of the righteous predecessors, the second best generation and the third best generation? Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said this ijma' is also binding. The most correct scholarly opinion concerning that is the view of Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah, Ibn Taymiyyah, that the unanimous consensus of التابعين of the righteous early generations, the Salaf al-Salih, certainly is also binding. طيب, what about the ijma' of the ummah? Now, when we say the ummah, again, the consensus of the ummah after these three praised generations, is the ijma' of the ummah binding? Now, when we say the ummah, certainly we do not mean every individual of the ummah, because there is no way we can achieve that. There is no way we can achieve that. There is no way we can get the view, because remember when we defined what ijma' is, we said unanimous agreement, that there is no one single view against the opinion. Now, there is no way for us to record the view of every single individual of the ummah. Add to this, not every single Muslim is qualified to have an opinion about a matter in the religion. In fact, a lot of the Muslims are ummiyin, are illiterate in the sense of not even being able to read and write. Add to this possessing the knowledge which would grant them the foundation and the ground to produce religious rulings is not even there. It's impossible to do so. So what is meant by the ijma', the unanimous agreement or the consensus of the learned scholars of the ummah, the scholars of the ummah, is it binding? There is a difference of opinion regarding this. There is a difference of opinion whether the ijma' of the scholars of the ummah is a sharia binding or not. But certainly, to conclude regarding this particular subject, that the ijma' of the companions, the students of the companions, and the students of the companions, meaning the first three praised generations, is binding, especially if it is amongst the al-ijma' al-qat'i, the definitive consensus matters, praying 5 times a day, zakah is mandatory, hajj is mandatory upon every Muslim who is able, Ramadan, fasting the month of Ramadan is mandatory upon every Muslim who is able as well, and so forth. This is called definitive consensus, unanimous agreement. This is binding as well, regardless.
Welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters. That was an amazing clip from Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him. Like I said, I love the way he explains things, mashallah, because he has so much passion in the way that he's speaking with great knowledge, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him tremendously for this special talent. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. My dear brothers and sisters, we still have a whole lot more for you, inshallah. Next is a clip from our program Ask Huda with Sheikh Muhammad Salah. This is a clip that aired on the 2nd of September, and in it Sheikh Muhammad Salah was answering a question about the sunnah rak'ahs of al-ihram. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Is it required to offer 2 rak'ahs at the miqat in order to make the niyyah of Umrah, and 2 rak'ahs after completing the Umrah at Marwah after doing a sa'i? I always used to do that, but I was informed that the Prophet ﷺ never did so. Well, with regards to the 2 rak'ahs before Ihram, there is not a particular sunnah to be done before the Ihram. I mean, it is not prescribed to initiate 2 rak'ahs, especially in order to assume or formulate the intention of Ihram. But it is recommended to do your Ihram after every prayer, any prayer. Let's say, at the miqat, you entered a masjid and you prayed Tahiyatul Masjid. So that's a sunnah. You can do the talbiyah and say labbaika umratan afterward. So it is recommended, but there is no particular sunnah of 2 rak'ahs before the ihram. As far as the 2 rak'ahs after finishing the umrah, that is not prescribed as well. Keep in mind that in the haram, during any time of the day and the night, other than the 3 times which are known as awqatul karaha, which is dislike to pray any voluntary prayer, such as between Fajr prayer and until 20 minutes past sunrise, and 20 minutes before the sun moves away from its meridian, before the adhan of the dhuhr, until the adhan is called, and after Salatul Asr until sunset. These are 3 times which is disliked to offer any unnecessary prayer. Unnecessary in a sense that it is not compulsory. Rather, it is voluntary. Otherwise, throughout the day, it is recommended to offer as much nawafil as you want, whether during the day or during the night, especially in the haram. But once you intend that these 2 rak'ahs is to wrap up my umrah, that is not prescribed. You can, after finishing your umrah, start praying 2, 4, 6, 8, up to as many number of rak'ahs as you wish. But there is no particular sunnah after finishing the umrah. Rather, there is a sunnah of performing tawaf. Whether this tawaf is tawaf al-qudum, tawaf al-ifada, I mean mandatory tawaf, or voluntary tawaf which you can do 24/7. There is no dislike time to offer tawaf. 24/7 you can perform tawaf. In this case, after tawaf, it is prescribed to pray 2 rak'ahs, sunnatul tawaf. And in this case, you can pray it even during waqtul karaha. Why? Because it's a prayer that has a reason. Similar to praying Tahiyatul Masjid when you enter the masjid after Asr. It is time, it's one of the 3 times which is disliked to pray unnecessary nawafil, not prescribed. But this is prescribed. The greeting of the masjid, or the 2 sunnah of performing tawaf once you're done with your tawaf. But there is no 2 rak'ahs after the sa'i.
MashaAllah, my dear brothers and sisters, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant all of us the chance to go to Umrah soon and to Hajj as well. I hope, inshaAllah, that all our brothers and sisters who have made the intention and the preparations for Hajj this year, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants them this great blessing and invites them to actually attend Hajj this year, inshaAllah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of you. Please take care of your health, especially in these next few weeks, inshaAllah, before Hajj, so that you'll be at your best, inshaAllah, when we start the Hajj season, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Also, my dear brothers and sisters, what we want you to do is to make dua for all the brothers and sisters who are not going to Hajj this year, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses them and that they are able to go to Hajj next year, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And even if we're not able to go to Hajj, then at least so we can start by going to Umrah inshaAllah soon, and make an intention for it, even if you feel that you don't have the money for it, or you don't have the health for it, or if you're a sister and you don't have a mahram, whatever the case may be, just make an intention, and before you know it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a way out for you from places that you never expected. Things will happen, someone will give you a call and will tell you, I'm doing this, I want you to come with me, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with money from places that you never expected, or even a sister doesn't have a mahram, who knows, maybe one of her relatives will want to go with her who's a mahram. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all. It all starts with an intention, and subhanAllah, the least that can happen is that if we have the right intention and it doesn't work out at the end of the day for whatever reason, then inshaAllah we will get the reward of the person, like the person who actually did it. Like if you make an intention for Umrah and you're not able to go for one reason or another, then inshallah you'll get the reward like a person who went to Umrah. Of course, the same applies for Hajj if you have a true intention. Of course, that doesn't mean that you're no longer obligated to go to Hajj. Of course, when you are able to go, then you should go, but who knows? Maybe you will get the reward of a person who goes to Hajj. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us all to seek His forgiveness and to visit the holy cities of Mecca, inshaAllah, and Medina, and bi'idhnillah ta'ala, who knows, maybe also Al-Quds one day, inshaAllah. My dear brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will have just a few more recapping segments of episodes that aired throughout this past week here on Huda TV. And then, my dear brothers and sisters, we will conclude. So we'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Reading the Quran is a blessing. Understanding its translation is beautiful. But diving in depth and extracting pearls from it is simply amazing.
أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ
Do they not ponder upon the Quran? Every week, inshallah, we will dig deep and reflect on the verses of the Quran one by one.
Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, only on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters. This is the third and final segment here this evening of Viewers Pulse. Thank you so much for being with us here and for continuing to join us. My dear brothers and sisters, we still have a couple of more recapping segments that we want to share with you. First is our program, A Time to Please Allah. Really one of my favorite programs here on Huda TV because it's presented by two amazing brothers who are, mashallah, youth, and at the same time they speak directly from their heart with also Islamic knowledge. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them. And of course I'm talking about brother Ismail Bullock and my dear brother also Gabriel Al-Rumani. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless both of them for the work that they do, because I want you to know that they're not only sitting there and presenting their thoughts and ideas, but they're actually the ones behind making the show actually work. On a weekly basis. They bring the guests that you see on the screen, they choose the topics, so they're not just sitting there, just speaking their minds about whatever topic that someone else chooses for them, or speaking to guests that someone else brings. No, they're doing the whole 9 yards, and they're doing a whole lot of great work. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at a clip from A Time to Please Allah. This is an episode that aired just this past Thursday, the 4th of September. In it, Brother Kevin is talking about his family. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Brother Kevin, you're just telling us how you met your sister and you found out that, subhanAllah, she'd been a Muslim for 19 years.
Yes, I didn't know that, bro.
SubhanAllah.
So now I need to know. I'm excited.
But you know, your family is scattered all over the United States and Canada,
Yes.
isn't it? So that's
My sister was in Atlanta.
So your sister from your father's side?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
before,
So my
okay.
stepsister, basically,
okay.
she had moved to Atlanta.
Stepsister or half-sister?
half-sister.
Half-sister, if you want to
Half-sister,
say. Yeah. Sorry about that. Technically, yes, my half-sister.
That's
So
very
Ismail likes to correct me.
He's very technical.
Because obviously, stepsister in theory is not really related, whereas a half-sister
No,
is.
you're
So
right,
I
you're
was
right,
just trying to
yeah.
understand it. Was it actually like his sister from his dad, or was it literally
Yeah, half-sister. It was
the
a
daughter of his dad's new wife? That's why I was trying to confirm it.
Right, yes. So, yeah, the sister from my dad, from his previous marriage. So, you know, we really sat and talked a lot, and she met my wife, and, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, it was nice to know. And I was even asking her because I know, you know, most people that know Islam that are African-American, especially in Detroit and Chicago, you know, they know different things about Islam. But she, you know, knew about the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ.
So she was not like Nation of Islam or anything like that?
No. She, you know, that's what I thought. But no, she, you know, was very much, you know, from our Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I said, this is even more amazing, you know. And that really amped me up. I wanted to give dawah to my father, but I was still so new. But when you're very new, you really just always want to hit the pedal to the metal, you know. So I remember, you know, speaking with my father, and, you know, he knew more than me. Especially in the means of misconceptions. So he finally stumped me, and you know, I was really stumped. I said, SubhanAllah, I had to go back and meet with the brothers and the imam, and you know, we had the talk. And so still I haven't been back to, you know, educate my father again, but you know, our relationship is good. I visit and things like this.
Talk to him.
He's always very happy to have us come by, my wife and my, you know, children and things like this, and they're very good at hosting, so there's a good relationship there. You know,
But you guys never got into it.
We haven't returned back to the table yet. But inshallah, you know, I'm very much, you know.
I think now you're ready.
I think I'm more ready with the knowledge that I have, and still just as excited to talk again, because I know my dad, you know, is a person that wants the truth. You know, he's not saying, you know, I know all this, and I'm only doing this because this is what I know. You know, he's very logical and educated. So I think, inshallah, you know, my mom, you know, alhamdulillah, she took Shahada a year and a half ago. My wife, who was my next door neighbor that I spoke about.
That's what I was going to ask. What happened to the next door neighbor? That was my next question.
So, you know, I became Muslim in December 28th. In the following April, you know, she was saying, you know, she really liked this stuff and what we were reading. And these guys, again, you know, they came to my house and just knocked the door. And they said, yeah, we're going to go. You want to come with us? And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I have some engagements that I have to meet with. And they said, you mean like girlfriend? I said, well, you know, maybe something like that, I guess, if you want to say that. And they said, you know, in Islam, we don't really practice the dating thing. I said, really? And these guys were very good with me. You know, they never were pushy. But, you know, they knew if I knew about the information, it was not a problem for me to apply it. So they showed me some things, you know, between the Quran and some things online.
And Abdul Qadir was, he was important in this. One of our brothers from the masjid,
Yeah. So they said to me, you know, they said that to me, and then they proved it to me. I said, okay, hold on one second. I ran downstairs and I ran next door, and I said, look, you know, this is what you're serious about. I was like, we can get married. And for her, this was a good thing. She was like, perfect, we'll get married. So I came back and I said, told them what happened. The brothers were like,
he shocked us.
The brothers were like, really? I was like, yes, you know, this is what I'm going to do. So, you know, we made that arrangement. April came. My wife took Shahada, and the same day we got married. And subhanAllah, I remember, you know, I came from a different type of background. You know, marriage was the last option most people look for in a relationship. So it took me a long time, you know, to adjust. And, you know, these brothers, they worked with me, alhamdulillah. And, you know, one of the brothers at the mosque who was, you know, very good with us, very knowledgeable brother, Abdul Qadir Taibi, Dr. Abdul Qadir. he sat with us many times, as did Sheikh Mustafa, our Imam at the time, to help us, understand, what your relationship is for. That your relationship, even as a husband and a wife, is something that you're doing for the sake of Allah.
What I love about this program, my dear brothers and sisters, is that, subhanAllah, there are people speaking from the heart, saying real life stories that happen to all of us every day. I remember a story that Brother Gabriel said on last week's episode, not just this past week's episode, the week before that, when he was speaking about his wife. And we showed that clip here on Viewers Pulse last week's episode. And he was talking about, how his wife is so busy with the kids all the time, and may Allah help her because she's doing so much. So subhanAllah, it's just real life stories that happen to all of us. When you see them happening to other people as well, you get to appreciate what you have a whole lot more. So alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Alright, my dear brothers and sisters, what we want you to know here at Huda TV is that we always try our best to bring you the best programming. We try our best. We may not always be able to do that. A big part of it is the finances. We have a whole lot more greater ideas than what we actually produce and show on screen. Maybe we shouldn't be saying that, but we are saying it because at the end of the day, like we're one family. So if you've seen the recent sponsorship ads on Huda TV, I did the voiceover for one of them, and it's asking for donations. None of your donations will go, to some person's pocket, for their personal revenues or benefits or whatever. Obviously, programs cost money, as you know. You have a whole lot of airtime, satellite feeds, even salaries for people. Whatever the case may be, it's going directly for the benefit of the da'wah. So if you're able to donate in any way, shape, or form, please do. So, and one sister sent me a message. She said, if I'm not able, actually it was a sister who called on the program here about a couple of weeks ago. She said, what if I'm not able to make a donation for that specific amount that you guys put on there? I don't remember the number, but it was whatever number of Saudi riyals or dollars, for 1 hour of programming or 1 day of programming, whatever the case may be, because we have different categories. She's like, what if I can't even do the minimum? I told her, just make a donation for whatever you can. And who knows, maybe you'll be more blessed than someone who makes a bigger donation. Maybe you'll get extra reward because you're taking out of your money, and you have a bigger intention, that you're not just donating whatever quote-unquote small amount that you think is small that you're donating, but actually you have a bigger intention that if I had more, I would have donated more. So Allah gives you the reward for whatever you donated and whatever you intended to donate but were unable to donate. That's how beautiful our deen is. It's the deen of mercy, the deen of forgiveness, and the deen of greatness, because it is the pure deen that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the perfect system, al-Islam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. My dear brothers and sisters, we have just one last recapping segment or one last clip that we want to show you here this evening, and it is a beautiful Quran recitation from our program, Correct Your Recitation. This is an episode that aired on the 4th of September. Let's go ahead and take a look.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يوم ترى المؤمنين والمؤمنات يسعى نورهم بين أيديهم وبأيمانهم بشراكم اليوم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ذلك هو الفوز العظيم يوم يقول المنافقون والمنافقات للذين آمنوا انظرونا نقتبس من نوركم قيل ارجعوا وراءكم فالتمسوا نورا فضرب بينهم بسور له باب باطنه فيه الرحمة وظاهره من قبله العذاب ينادونهم ألم نكن معكم قالوا بلى ولكنكم فتنتم أنفسكم وتربصتم وارتبتم وغرتكم الأماني حتى جاء أمر الله وغرتكم الأماني حتى جاء أمر الله وغركم بالله الغرور.
حسبك يا إبراهيم.
Simply, my dear brothers and sisters, what can you say other than mashallah? A very, very, very beautiful Quran recitation that moves the heart. Anyone who has some iman in their heart, any piece of iman, even if there's a whole lot of dust on it, even if this is the first time that you listen to the Quran in a long time, you will be moved. And it is a reminder of the beauty of the Quran, because these are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Quran. So my dear brothers and sisters, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward the brother. I'm not sure what his name is. I heard Sheikh Muhammad Salah call him Ibrahim at the end. I'm not sure if that is his name or if he was talking to someone else. But no matter who he is, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for his beautiful voice. And believe me, people don't simply have a beautiful Quran voice and that's it. They actually work hard on it. They learn and they practice for years in order to perfect their voices and to perfect the tajweed and the tilawa, as you see this brother right here. So it's not just a natural talent that takes nothing except just reading the Quran and that's it. No. Yes, it is a talent, of course, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants to whomever He wishes, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But people work hard on developing these talents. We need, my dear brothers and sisters, as well to learn the Quran, to read the Quran, and to try to better ourselves and our children when it comes to the Quran, and to make it the essence of our life when it comes to reading, reciting, tajweed, tilawa, and most importantly, implementation in our daily lives, inshaAllah. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, let me remind you with our email address, and that is pulse@huda.tv, pulse@huda.tv. Feel free to send us an email, inshaAllah. And bi'idhnillah ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters, next week, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us life, we will be back again with you live here in the studio, inshaAllah. Until then, have a good night and a good weekend, inshaAllah, and a good week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home.